Good morning and welcome to Inner Balance Qigong. We'll begin today in horse stance as we typically do. And this is a little exploration to give us a sense of our center of gravity. And so in horse stance, our knees are slightly bent, tailbone slightly tucked. And the chin is dropped just ever so slightly below parallel to the floor. And that way we open up a little bit more at the base of the skull. There's an energetic gateway there that can get congested. So if we just drop the chin just slightly, that kind of gives a little bit of an opening there. And then the shoulders begin to fall away from the ears. And bring your full awareness into your feet. Sense the connection that they're making with the floor and by extension with the earth beneath. And for this, I'm just going to invite you to notice where your weight exists or where you sense the greatest weight in your feet. And it may be that it's toward the front of the foot, the ball of the foot, or maybe toward the heel, or maybe you sense that it's fairly evenly distributed throughout the foot. And we're going to be gently and consciously shifting the weight to the balls of the feet. The heels remain down, and just notice how the body responds to that. At some point, the muscles will need to engage to keep us from falling forward. And just notice where in your body it seems the muscles are contracting to keep you stable. Make sure the breath is flowing. And then gradually with the breath, shift back to what you perceive as center. And notice again how the weight feels as it's distributed through the foot. Now we're going to gradually shift the weight toward the heels, keeping the balls of the feet engaged with the floor. And notice how it might feel different in your body in terms of musculature activation to keep you from falling backward. And then gradually return to center. So the body's always working oppositionally. So as we lean forward, the muscles on the back body have to tone to keep us from falling forward. As we shift back, the muscles on the front of the body tone to keep us from falling back. So let's just explore the forward rock toward the balls of the feet, and then back toward the heel. And we're just going to keep the weight shifting from one extreme to the other, using the breath to support the movement. This is a really great practice just to begin to develop our balance or to maintain it. I mean, we're already doing pretty well, but in our aging, we can start to feel a little less stable in our body, and this is a great way to maintain that. Just listing forward and back, a gentle rocking action. And the next time you come through center, pause. And again, notice how the weight feels in terms of distribution in the foot. Now we're going to let the weight shift to the left leg. So the right leg starts to extend as the left leg bends. And you can even just let your arms sort of release in that direction as well. And notice how the weight is sinking down. And you can adjust in terms of how much you bend your leg and how long you stay in this position. And then push into the floor through the bent leg, foot, and come back to center. Notice how the body comes back to a state of equilibrium. And then we'll shift the weight to the other side, letting the arms just kind of glide in that direction as well. And then when you're ready, push through the foot, extending the leg and coming back to center. Now we're just going to let the weight rock from side to side. The arms can gently sort of swing with the body. Finish the cycle you're on and come back to center. Now it gets a bit more complex. We're just going to integrate the forward and back and the side to side movement by moving the body in a circle. So we'll start by leaning forward so the weight is on the balls of the feet. Then let the weight shift to the left leg. Then back onto the heels as you come through center, and then over to the right leg, and then onto the balls of the feet again. So we're exploring the outer perimeter of the feet, you could say. If you bring your awareness into your feet, you'll notice that the weight shifts around the outside of the feet, like a box, kind of, although we're trying to make it more like a circle. And then the next time you come forward, pause. You might notice your toes are gripping a little bit. See if you can kind of relax them, and then shift and go the opposite direction. Breath supports the movement, carries the body through space. You can let your arms kind of swing with you. You can take it as slow or as fast as feels good in your body. And the next time you come forward, pause. So the weight is on the balls of the feet again, and then gradually shift back to center. Now we're going to take a bit of a wider stance and turn the feet out slightly. This will involve bending the knees and squatting down, but you adjust the level of the depth that you're going to go. Turn the palms away from the body. This is golden seed, and this is a breath awareness practice. So we'll inhale and bring the arms up, and we're crossing at the wrists up behind the head. Doesn't matter which arm is in front. And then exhale, sink down, drop your hands behind your head and your neck. And then elbows sink and your hands are opposite your shoulders as you push out. Palms flat, hands come around, and we'll extend the legs up. Exhale and sink, bending the knees again if you like. Inhale, now the other hand is going to be in front. That might require a little concentration to figure out, I think I'm this way, which side is in front. With the exhalation, the arms come out. Inhale, rising up, arms forward, exhale, and sink down. And we'll just repeat this for a few more cycles. So you could just remain with the legs mostly extended and just do the arm movement like so. Or you can squat down a little bit more deeply as the arms drop, the body drops. Finish one more cycle. And pause. Turning the feet parallel again. We'll come to a stance. So our feet are more in alignment with the hip bones. we're going to lubricate the joints or nourish the joints. So we'll turn the feet out, and this will be a bit of a truncated version of that sequence. So we're lifting one heel and then the other, weight shifting from one leg to the other. Stretching the plantar fascia on the soles of the feet. So if you've ever experienced plantar fasciitis, that's a inflammation of the tissues on the sole of the foot. And this is a great way just to kind of keep the length in those tissues so that they don't get overly inflamed. And we'll pause and place the feet down. Now lifting the left heel again, roll around on the ball of the foot. So you feel movement in the ankle, the knee, and the hip joint. Notice the breath. Find a fluid rhythm. Pause and go the opposite way on the foot. And release the heel down. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now go the opposite direction. And finish the cycle you're on, release your heels, and bring your feet back to parallel. Now we'll slide the hands down to the knees, and we're going to let the knees separate and then bend a little more deeply, come toward one another, and then extend. So I guess it's sort of like we're doing the Charleston or something, a jitterbug, or I don't know, one of those oldie-timey dances. And so we're focusing on the knees, but as you can see that, your ankles and your hips are moving as well. And then next time your knees bend, pause, and then go the opposite direction. And next time they bend, pause, drop your chin to your chest, tuck your tailbone, and slowly roll up the spine. And of course, if you feel at all lightheaded, just pause. So we're moving on now to the hips. And if you may wish to have a chair nearby, because this will involve balancing and we're going to be rotating the leg. So if we're going to start by rotating the left leg, so you'd want to have your chair on the right side or a wall near you on your right side so that you can maintain your stability. So we're going to shift the weight to the right and start to lift the left knee and then let it go out to the side and then back behind you. And then it's going to come through, and you can move your arms a bit away from your body to serve as ballast or hold on to a chair. One more cycle in this direction, and then place your foot down. Just for ease, typically I would go to the other side, but if you're using a chair, just leave it where it is. And now we're going to let the leg go in the opposite direction. So the left leg again, lifting the knee, and then send your foot back into space with the knee, and then out to the side, and then around front. So it's just reversing the direction. Gaze at the floor to help you maintain your stability. Finish the cycle you're on, and then step out. You could either just turn around or put your chair on the other side if you're using it. And this time the weight shifts to the left leg, and we'll let the right knee come up forward and then out to the side, back, and through. And keep going. And release. And now we're going to go in the opposite direction. So back. Woo! I'm going to try that again. Looking at the floor And just find your way through the revolutions in the hip socket. And then step out. All right, now we're going to imagine that we're drawing a circle on the floor with a tailbone, so the hands can be at the hips. And it's just a little rotation. Here again, we're moving through you could sense the femur moving in the hip socket, and the knee joints are moving as well as the ankles, because everything's connected. And then gradually spiral out, making a wider circumference of your circle. So we're isolating the movement in the pelvis. Next time your bottom pushes back, pause and then go the opposite direction. And you might notice that in one direction the flow is easier, or maybe one joint feels a little stickier. And finish the cycle and come around to a neutral pelvis. And we'll inhale deeply, exhale, sweep the hands away from the body and then let them settle down. Now we're going to focus on the hands. So we're going to turn the palms up and roll the pinky, the ring, middle, first finger in, then make a fist with your thumb, and then open the hands quickly all at once, and then roll each finger in individually, making the fist, and then open all at once. Couple more, and then slowly release the hands down. Notice how the hands feel, maybe your forearms. And we're going to bring the forearms parallel to the floor, drop at the wrist, and then the fingertips face each other toward the ceiling. Turn your palms away and press down. So you're creating a circular motion in the wrist joint, keeping the elbows stable. Pause and go the opposite direction. Pause, release your hands down. Now, more movement in the elbow, still in the wrist. So we'll cross one arm in front of the other, doesn't really matter which. And then press down. Now, we're going to go the opposite way and have the opposite hand on the outside. And pause. Here, we're going to bring the hands up to the shoulders, and we're going to let the elbows lead forward and up, out, back, and down. So we're getting some rotation in the shoulder joints. Opening up through the chest. Pause when your elbows are down next, and then go the opposite direction. Next time your elbows fall down, pause. And then slowly with the exhalation, release your hands down. Now we're going to return to the torso again. And here we're focusing on the rib case. And you could place your hands on your ribs, or they could be at your top of your pelvis at the hip level. And we'll go side to side first with the ribs back and forth, trying to keep the pelvis and lower body stable. So the ribs and shoulders are moving from side to side. And then pause. Now we're going to press the ribs forward, then to the left, then back, and to the right. So we're creating this gyration, circular motion with the rib case. And notice the breathing. You want to make sure it's supporting this movement. And then pause when your ribs are forward and go the other way. And pause. Inhale deeply, exhale, sweep the hands away from the body, and then they come to rest. And we'll finish with just the head. And if you notice that you have any awareness of discomfort in your neck or hardware in there, adjust this movement as necessary for you. So the head's going to go side to side just as the ribs were, trying to keep the chin parallel to the floor. And then we're going to start to move it in that same circular motion that we were moving the ribs. Next time your head pushes forward, pause, and then go in the opposite direction. And pause, coming back to center. Now we're going to, this next form is sparrow shakes the earth. And it's a simple action and just kind of creating a quick movement of the arms, a little bounce in the knee if that's comfortable, to shake out any stagnancy. So on the inhale, we're just going to bring the hands up in front of the chest. And with the exhale, just shake them out and let them drop. And your head kind of drops down too. I'm just going to make sure I'm not going to hit anything behind me. So we'll inhale. And you could make a sound. You could up easy. A little bit more force as your arms swing down and back. One more. And then you'll let the hands just gently hover back down. And notice how the hands feel, the wrists, forearms, elbows, upper arms, and shoulders. This next form involves balancing, and we'll come back to a stance. And I'm just going to show you where we're going to wind up, and then you can decide. I'll demonstrate a couple or offer a couple of modifications. So ultimately, we're going to have the foot behind the knee resting there so that there's that pressure kind of gives you a bit of stability. However, you could have it behind your calf or behind your ankle, or even just like the tips of your toes touch the floor behind your ankle. And so you still have contact with both feet, however, and if you certainly can just do the arm movements. So this is Little Buddha praying. And we're going to start with the palms facing away from the body. On the inhale, the arms will slowly rise up. Palms come together above the head. Exhale, bend your elbows and draw the hands down to the heart center. Now we're going to start shifting the weight to the right, and inhale, we're going to extend the arms up and place the foot behind the knee or wherever on your body you want to, or your lower body. And then exhale, bring the arms down. Inhale, they bend and come back to your heart center. Exhale, step out. You can bend your knees here and then sort of rebound. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, down to your heart. Inhale, up. Exhale, out and down. And we'll repeat. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, extend up. Exhale and out. A little bit like tree pose from yoga. Do one more each side. Inhale as the arms rise, lifting the foot. Exhale, bend. Inhale, extend. Exhale, step out. So last one this side. And pause. Notice sensation in the lower body as well as in the arms. Now we're going to explore forward fold, and you'll take this as deeply as feels comfortable for you. This is retrieving the moon from the sea. So we're going to be bringing the palms together and rubbing the hands, elbows in near the body, shoulders falling away from the ears, gazing at your hands. And then pause the hands, and then slowly let the palms of the hands separate away from each other, and then your fingertips until you're holding a ball. And the ball is the moon. So it can be, maybe as wide as your body is wide. And we're going to extend the arms down. And this also involves a bit of a back bend if that's comfortable. On the inhale, we're raising the arms up as high as you can, and you might come into a back bend, and you can thrust your hips forward as you lean your body back, and then rise up again, and then exhale, come down, bend your knees, and bring your hands through your legs toward the wall behind. And then inhale, rise, push into the earth, through your feet, arch, thrusting the hips forward if that's comfortable. Exhale and down, going as slowly as you need to be comfortable and as deeply as feels good for you. Retrieving the moon from the sea. Finish one more cycle, ending with the arms above the head. So go all the way down and then come back up for the final pause. Hands above the head. And then here, with the next inhalation, we're expanding the moon, the ball of Qi, and exhale, condense it and direct it down through the body and anchor the energy in the lower dantian. Letting the arms rest where they'll lie naturally. This next form is pushing mountains, and you might choose to make some sound here. It's just an HA extended, drawn out with the movement of the arms. So on the inhale, the hands are going to rise up to about solar plexus level. Exhale, we'll direct the energy down, and we're gathering energy into the palms of the hands. Inhale, And then exhale, slowly make a loose fist. Inhale deeply and draw your left elbow back. And then on the exhalation, you can bend your knees, turn your palm to face forward, fingers up. Palm up, inhale, make your fist again. Exhale, other arm. Palm up, inhale, making a fist. Opposite arm. Very slow, deliberate movement. Synchronized with breath. You can do the bend of the knee or just keep the legs straight. While bending your knees, make sure they're moving away from each other. Now we're going to go at a diagonal. The sound we're making is clearing out stagnancy. One more each side. And your feet parallel. Inhale, gather energy into the big ball. Exhale, bring it into the lower dantian. Pause here. Notice sensation in the lower body as well as in the arms. So this is the moment when we're going to be lying down on the floor, just for this one form called Rising Star. So I'm going to get down to the ground. So if you need to adjust your camera to be able to see yourself on the floor or me or however it needs to work, but I think you should be able to follow my instructions fairly easily. So we're going to get down to the floor in whatever way works best for you. And we want to spread the arms and the legs. So we're like a 5-pointed star. And the arms can be not necessarily directly out from your shoulders, but a little bit more like a V. And palms are up. And this is for some abdominal toning. And you'll do as many as you can comfortably and maintain the lift as long as you can comfortably. So the intention is to lift the legs and the arms and the head at the same time away from the floor. And it can just be, a fraction of an inch away from the floor. So we're going to actually be lifting on the exhalation and releasing on the inhalation. That just gives us more power of the breath. So we'll start with a deep inhalation. Exhale, lift all the limbs in the head, and then inhale, release back down. Next exhalation. Inhale when you're ready. And you could just lift your arms and your head, particularly if you're noticing any discomfort in the lower back. You could also bend your knees. Do 3 more if we can. One more. And pause. Let everything soften. Sink into the earth. Now gradually bend one knee, drawing the heel in toward the buttocks. The feet are on the floor, and we'll do the other foot now. And the arms can come down alongside the body, the palms down. And here we're just going to slowly scoop the tailbone up toward the ceiling until the buttocks lifts just slightly away from the floor. It's just to stretch out through the lower back here. And then release the spine from the top down. And we'll just do this a couple more times. So when you're lifting the buttocks, you will likely feel your quadriceps, your thighs, front thigh muscles toning a bit. And one more lift and release down. And now bring the knees into the chest as deeply as you can. And if it's comfortable, with your exhale, lift your head and direct your nose towards your toes. Again, just to release through the back. And then with the exhale, release the head. Next exhalation, release your feet back to the floor. And then gradually roll to one side and use your arms to support you from your side back to a seated position. And then eventually we're going to come back standing. So find your way gradually back to a standing position. Now we're going to move into a lunging form, and I'll just demonstrate how this is going to look. We're going to pivot, and we're going to be holding a ball, the ball of Qi, and we're going to bend the back leg, and the hands come in toward the body, and they rise up. So we're making a circle with the arms, and then we're lunging forward. Hands drop down, and then the weight shifts to the back leg. Front leg straightens. And we'll just continue here in this direction. Make sure as your knee is bending, the front knee, that it's tracking over the foot rather than, particularly the one thing we want to avoid is it moving toward the midline of the body, toward the spine. If anything, we want it to move away from the midline toward the outer wall of your room. And we'll finish and shift the weight back and lift the ball of your foot and pivot to center. Direct the energy down. Gather the ball of Qi again. We're going to pivot to the other side. And the arms rise up. And so this is a weight transference we were exploring earlier through primarily just awareness in the feet and the upper body. Now the legs are really engaged in this transference of the energy from one leg to the other. And we're circulating the Qi through the body. So we're moving it up the back of the body and then down the front as we hinge forward into the lunge. And we'll explore one more cycle. As the hands start to rise up, we'll pivot back to center and then direct the energy down to the lower dantian. Pause for a moment of inner observation, noticing how the body feels. See if you can sense the internal flow of the qi. The next form will also involve a lunging action. And we'll start with the fingertips facing each other. Inhale, hands rise up to the solar plexus or chest level. Exhale, direct the energy flow down. Inhale, gather energy into the palms of the hands. We're going to pivot to the left. The palms press forward, elbows down, pushing something heavy. Fingertips face each other, hands come in toward the chest. Weight shifts to the back leg. Drop the elbows, push this heavy object forward. Now, inhale, arms come up. Watch the hands as they come above your head, and then bend the right leg as much as you can as your hands swing down. Weight shifts to the left leg again. Turn so you're facing the left wall, and the hands come up. Inhaling to your shoulders. Exhale, push forward. Inhale, draw back. Exhale, push forward. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, they sink down. Inhale, hands up to your shoulders again, rising. Exhale, push forward. Be the last one on this side, but we're going to have to sort of cycle through part of it. So the hands will come forward here. As they come into the body, now we're going to pivot back to center. And then the energy flows down. Gather some fresh qi, bring it up into the body, expanding it out. And then circulating it. Looking for fluidity of motion, synchronize the movement with the breath. Same thing here. We're going to push forward one last time and then draw the energy in, pivot, and we're anchoring it in the lower dantian. And then we can come back to horse stance just for ease as we observe how the body's responding to the movement. I'm going to turn to the side to demonstrate this next movement. And this is embracing arms. And we're going to extend one leg forward. And so that's going to require that the other leg is bent and the heel is up. Or, I beg your pardon. The heel is down, the toes are up. So the hands, palms are up. And we're going to draw the hands back. And then they come forward. And we hinge and squat down a little bit if that's comfortable. So you feel a deeper stretch in the back of your leg. Inhale. Arms come forward. Exhale, sink down. And you can just do the arm movements. You certainly don't have to go as deeply as I am. It could just be a slight bend in that back leg, or again, it's more the arm movement. that you're exploring. And we'll do one more cycle on this side. As the hands come in near the hips, we'll pause and pivot back to center and direct the energy down. Now we're going to turn to the other side. And so if you know that you can go deeper, you can move your foot a little bit farther away, but you could keep it just a closer stance, and it can be a subtler action for you. Just going to move a little bit farther away from the screen behind me. So we'll start with the palms up, and then we'll draw the hands back. Inhale, exhale, down into the squatting action. Inhale, and bring your awareness into the back of the extended leg, feeling the stretch there. And one more on this side. And we'll come back to center and direct the energy into the lower dantian. So certainly we're getting a stretch through the extended leg, and then the rising and falling action is strengthening the muscles in the other leg as we're exploring that. So each side of the body is benefiting and then balancing because we're doing both. All right, now this is just a twisting action. So we're coming to horse stance. And this is bear turns to press wall. And we'll start with the fingertips facing each other, palms face the ceiling. On the inhale, the hands will rise up to about solar plexus level. And we'll pause a moment here. We want to keep the weight evenly distributed through the lower body as we explore this action. We're not doing any weight transference with this one. So we start again. Inhale, hands come up to solar plexus level. Drop your elbows and turn and push slowly out away from your body. Palms turn to face the body, fingertips face each other, and you come back to center. And then same thing other side. Exhale, out. Inhale, slowly back to center. Drop the shoulder blades down the back as you push forward. Keeping the elbows in fairly near the body as you start to push forward. And if you like, as you're pushing out, you can squat down. We'll do one more each side. Back to center. And then we'll gather the energy into the big ball and anchor it in the lower dantian. And then release the hands. This next movement involves making sound as well, and it's going to be ha. So imagine ha, karate chopping a stack of bricks. And I'll demonstrate. Let me come forward just so you can see what the hand is going to be doing. We're going to be making what's called a bird's beak. So the hand is open, and we're just bringing the fingertips to the thumb. And then the wrist is in extension. The arms are down alongside the body, And on the inhale, the arms rise and we're slowly making the bird speak. And the elbows will bend here. So they drop slightly. The wrists are above the elbows. So that's the inhalation. Now on the exhalation, we're going to be making the sound and releasing the hand, opening the palm, and quickly and forcefully pushing forward. But it's a quick push and a retraction. So it's going to look like this. So we kind of stop pretty quickly. And then next exhalation, we'll release down. So we'll inhale. We can exhale and just bend the knees here, or the elbows, sorry. Inhale deeply. Ha! Inhale, hands come out away from the body, or from toward the sides of the body. Exhale and down. So we'll inhale. Exhale, drop the elbows. Inhale deeply. Ha! Inhale, hands come out, opposite your ears maybe. Exhale and release down. One more cycle. And release. Close the eyes, direct the focus within. Notice what you notice. Now we're going to be rotating, well, spiraling some plates. So we're turning the palms up and we'll be exploring the movement initially with just one hand at a time. And just use a breath cycle that works well for you. Just what's most important is that the breathing is just fluid and continuing as we explore the movement. But we can start on an inhalation and we start to turn the fingertips to face the waist and then the wall behind. And the palm stays up the entire time here. Look back at your hand and then start to bring the left hand out. Bend your elbow so you can keep your palm facing the ceiling. The hand comes up to the right, above your head, circles behind the head, and then out to the left again, forward, and then the elbow bends and the hand comes back in. And then we just begin that same action again. So you have to bend the elbow, pivot through the wrist to keep your palm facing the ceiling. So the fingertips face the body, the wall behind, the outer wall, bend. Now off to the right, back behind the body, or the head rather, and then come back in for a landing. And we'll do one more this side. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Fingertips lead, bending the elbow. You can get your lower body into the action here if you like. So the weight just kind of shifts in the direction that the arm is flowing. And let's explore one more on this side. And come back. Relax the hands. Now we're going to incorporate both arms, hands, arms at the same time. And this is, again, really important that you keep your elbows, or that you bend your elbows in order to keep your palms facing the ceiling. And there's a lot more kind of pivot of the wrist here in this one. So the arms are in essence doing the same thing they just were. And so your fingertips face the body, the wall behind. The arms come out, bend your elbows as the arms rise, and then cross at your wrists. And then the hands come behind the head and out and back down again, in elbows in near the body. Leaning forward as the arms come out, bending the elbows, arching the back here to get the hands behind the head if that's comfortable. And a few more cycles here. And one more. Bringing the hands in where we began, and then we'll gather the big ball of chi and anchor it. And we'll complete the practice with rotating the waist to tonify the kidneys. So the hands are going to be on the back, palms on your kidney region, elbows out wide, and the fingertips are maybe facing the spine, and your thumb can be kind of wrapped around the side of your body if that's comfortable. And we're really just hinging from the hips, leaning forward, and then off to the side, pushing the hips forward a bit, and then rotating around to the other side. So the head and the pelvis are always in opposition. And that's what keeps us, that's the sort of gyroscopic nature of our body. So it can always maintain its balance. And the next time we fold forward, we'll pause and then go the opposite way. Imagine the stagnancy releasing out of the kidneys through this action. And then the next time you come back to vertical, pause. And then we'll sweep off all of this stagnancy that we just brought to the surface of the body. So the hands are resting on the kidneys. We'll inhale. Exhale, sweep down over the buttocks, the side of your thighs, off your sides of your knees. Hands come around to the back again. One more. Direct the energy into the lower dantian again. And we'll complete the practice with the bow.